Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the SempreMilan bonus podcast on Substack. This week, we have decided to take a look back at the starting 11 that Milan fielded against Bologna, plus a couple of the options that came off the bench, and basically do a save or sell ahead of the summer transfer window. A lot of people have got opinions on how our squad depth looks, so we decided to go through player by player and pick out who we'd save and who we'd sell. Boys, welcome. I hope people enjoy the new production value there. New intro, nice little bit of music in the background. This is what we're doing for the Substack followers. So, hope you like the little changes that we've made. More to come. We're going to fine-tune this as the weeks go on. Boys, as kind of mentioned in the intro there, we had our opinions in the main podcast on the rotation that Pioli did during the game against Bologna on Saturday, which ended in a 1-1 draw. So it seemed logical, essentially, with the summer window now getting closer and closer by the week, to look down those lists of players and think about who's impressed enough to keep their spot for next season and those who we'd sell, given that we need to sell players in order to finance transfers and therefore make our squad better for next season. We're going to exclude the obvious ones. So Mike Maignan, I don't think anybody's selling him. And take the 100 million and run. We're also going to exclude Pierre Kalulu and Malik Chow. If you have a strong objection to that, please let us know in the comments. But we'll start with the right back, Alessandro Florenzi.
Yeah, sack him off, man. I think he played a role. He did a great job last season when he was called upon. This season, we haven't seen a whole lot of him, obviously long-term injury, so, give him a little bit of leeway there. But ultimately, I think he's had a couple of those big injuries. He's in his 30s now, early 30s, but still in them. And I think it's time we get a more reliable backup. I mean, remember, this is the guy who, because of his injury, we were forced to get Dest, who is another guy that's out the door. Club's already basically said that. So I'd rather get someone more permanent long-term.
I keep him. We know what he's capable of. I like that we disagree on the first one, though. Like, that's
good.
Perfect. We already know that the club has a bad track record at replacing players. Dest is a perfect example. Florenzi hasn't even gotten enough game time since he's back from injury, I think, to give him a fair chance to say he's shit or good. So I keep him because he's a quality backup. He knows his place as a backup. And he's happy collecting the paycheck, sitting on the bench, and playing when called upon. And to judge him with this starting 11 is very unfair.
That's the name of the game, though. So he had 2 minor knee surgeries last season, which forced him to miss a few weeks at a time. And I thought the alarm bells were there, and maybe we shouldn't make his deal permanent. Roma, kind of a rival, in the top 4, at least they've become one this season, and yet they were very happy to offload him to us. And I thought that doesn't seem right, but he did all right. He's an experienced leader, as you say. He's a 6 out of 10 performer. We know that he can bring the occasional goal as well, and also there's a bit of positional fluidity with him. However, I just don't think his body's cut out for it anymore, unfortunately. I don't think that he's going to be anything like he was when he first joined. That's a result of the injuries. That's a result of the fact that he's barely had any minutes this season. He looks a bit off pace. We were linked with Mazraoui last summer on a free transfer. We didn't end up getting him, but people at the time were saying, why would we do that? We've got Florenzi. I think we're kind of seeing now why. Florenzi's useful for the UEFA squad list as well, obviously, because he came through an Italian academy, but there's no reason we can't go out and find a replacement. We've got Calabria, who seems to be doing all right again. We've also got Kalulu, who can play right back, and that might be his long-term role. So I think we're fine to let Florenzi go. We move over to left back, Fode Ballo-Touré.
Oh, I'm going to say the exact same thing. Get him out of here. He probably had his best game last night or 2 days ago whenever we played. But that's still not saying a whole lot. He wasn't that great. I think we need someone who fits a similar mold to Teo. Obviously, you're not going to be able to replace him like for like, but someone who more fits that role, who, when we do need to make that change, it's not a huge drop-off in quality, a huge change in game plan. You want someone who's at least consistently similar to your starter so that you can continue the same game plan. Get rid of him also.
I mean, yeah, he's been here for 3 seasons, 4 maybe
2.
Yeah, definitely not 3.
Feels
he just
like
has
it.
not, done anything. So I think cash in. I don't know if we can even.
Yeah, I don't know how much we're gonna get, but
we
what's
paid like
his
4 or
contract right
5
now?
mil. I think we signed him on a 4-year deal, so a bit of time. Yeah, we paid like 4 million for him, so it was kind of a low cost gamble at the time. And the point is, he just needed to do a job in the 1 out of 10 games that Teo couldn't play. Unfortunately, has not done that job last season.
To be fair, he did get a winner too.
Yeah, that's kind of not what he was signed for, but you've got to give him a tick for that. During last season, Pioli even played Florenzi and Kalulu at left back over having to play Balotore, and I think that said a lot. He doesn't really trust him. He did do okay against Bologna, to be totally honest, after being a bit questionable perhaps for the first goal, though I think he was fouled. Still, there's no advantage to him being here. He's not Italian, he's not homegrown or anything. So go. And if the rumours are true and we're after Fabiano Parisi, who actually idolises Teo, then maybe that would be an upgrade in that position. Maddie, you were going to say something?
I'll wait till the end.
Okay.
Because my point will be broad for the entire squad. So,
speaking of homegrown, Tommaso Pobega, who scored the equaliser against Bologna with a Pobe Boom rocket.
I can answer for AJ if you want me to.
You can't, actually. I'm going to throw a curveball here.
Oh!
Everyone knows how much I despise Pobega. Keep him.
So harsh.
Because we need the homegrown. We got to have it there for UEFA squad list, for the Serie A list, whatever. You need some homegrown people. I mean, maybe just don't play him as much. But yeah, I don't like Pobega. I don't think he's got really a place in the squad, but I do see the importance of keeping some Italians.
Keep. I like Pobega. It's only his first season here to full season when he can actually play. To judge him based off that, I think is unfair. And he's got like 2 or 3 goals more than CDK. So
yes, he does.
Success.
I'll give you that. Do you know what? I've also been vocally critical of Pobega. I don't think he has, nor will he ever have the technical quality to become a starting midfielder for Milan. But you do need depth. You need useful depth. And as mentioned, the squad lists are important. I would keep him, but there are a couple of conditions to it. Number one, he has to be the 4th or 5th choice midfielder. We have to sign another central midfielder this summer, so we have actual strength in depth in that department. And the second is that we don't get an offer we can't turn down. Like if Torino come knocking and they're willing to give us 15, 20 million as like a pure capital gain, I think we should take that. It gives us a lot of room to manoeuvre on the market. Yes, sometimes you've got to make sacrifices, unfortunately, to make the capital gains and whatnot. But as it stands, probably stays. Astor Vronks, who is on a season-long loan with an option to buy for 12 million.
I don't want him either. I don't think he got enough play time, but then he got a full 90, and I was not thrilled with his full 90. And I know that that's really harsh because ultimately it's like 1 full game and then a few minutes here and there way earlier in the season. And his first sub appearance actually was pretty good. So, but I don't know. I'm just thinking priority wise, I think we need someone who is a starting caliber midfielder. And where Vronks is at, we would be making his loan permanent, costing money for him to be essentially a 4th choice. And I don't think that's where our priority should lie right now.
I want to say keep, but I'm gonna go sell. I don't think I think we either keep Pobega or Vronks, and Pobega has actually had results and game time, so we return, not sell.
Return. I think Pioli trusts Pobega more. For whatever reason, he'd never really taken a shine to Vronks. Perhaps ever since that foul that he gave away that led to the Roma equaliser back in January. I would also let him go back to Wolfsburg. I think Maldini and Massara thought that they got a really good coup by signing him, and he's only just turned 20, I believe. So there's still potential there, but I don't think he's ever going to get the minutes he needs to develop at a club like us. He could go on to be something special, but unfortunately, it's proven to be a bit of a gamble for that midfield role, and he was never going to be the Kessie replacement, nor was Pobega, so the midfield has got objectively weaker. Another condition, though, on this one, if we manage to negotiate that option to buy at like half price, and it becomes 5-6 million euros, and they really think that he's going to become something, then you probably keep him. But as it stands, no, not at 12 million. That is quite a big chunk of our budget.
Yeah, if you could get him at 4 or 5 and then send him on loan elsewhere, I think that would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, yeah, he's just fourth choice right now.
Can we?
Is it worth wasting that 4 to 5 million on a player that we're going to send out on loan, or is it worth investing that extra 4 to 5 million more in a striker or a right winger?
Always use the money to improve the starting 11 if you can.
Yeah,
like that's.
I agree with that for sure.
Can we all agree Bakayoko just go back? Fine.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
I mean, we've
go back to where? He's permanently here.
No, he's going back to Chelsea. He's on
is he?
2-year loan. Yeah. He's on 2-year loan.
I thought we negotiated something weird where he's like a permanent player now.
Yeah, we were gonna buy him and then sell him or give him away for free or some weird shit to one of the Turkish clubs, but it broke down over January, like everything else we tried. Yeah.
Right winger was Alexis Salamakers in this game.
I'm keeping him. I think he's shown to be the best second option we have for right winger behind someone we signed to be a central midfielder. I think Diaz is our best right winger right now. So, but yeah, Salamaker's definitely, he's fine second choice.
This one is if this happens, then this happens, right? If we keep Brahim for right wing, Salamakers goes. Because I think we can sign a better backup and get more for him. If Brahim leaves, we have to keep Salamakers and buy a better right winger and keep Alexis as backup.
Yeah, I think either way, Salamakers I would keep, but he should definitely only be our backup next season.
Yes.
Even if that is to Brahim or if it's to a new signing, he should only be a backup. Like I think he's not shown anything to suggest that he's a starting caliber right winger. In terms of his attacking production, of course, he offers balance and stuff, but we're seeing that even Brahim can do that at the moment. And I want to tie this in with the next player as well. I think Macias should go. I think if we can recoup anything for him, unfortunately, it seems like he isn't really holding up from a physical point of view at the moment either. Has missed crucial stretches of games, and he scored important goals. Don't get me wrong, and I'll be forever thankful for the 5 goals that he scored last season, some of which helped towards the Scudetto. But I think if you're keeping one of Salamakers or Macias, I'm keeping Sally.
Yeah, word for word, I agree with everything. I was a big fan of his, still am, but I just think his time's past him now.
You won some money off of him.
I did win some money off of him, and I'm going to still be negative on my bets after Origi, who I can't wait to get to him.
The attacking midfielder was Charles de Ketelaere. This is the toughest one, man.
It is. It's the toughest one. We spent a shit ton of money on him. I personally spent a shit ton of money on a jersey that I've never worn because I don't want to be caught in that. Yeah, he's been really poor. I think maybe a loan might be good for him. I know early in the season, Stefano made the argument that if you send him on loan, it's just going to ruin him. But I think we're past that point already. So maybe give him a little something with less pressure so he could regain a little bit of confidence and maybe come back. And if it's still not working after a year out on loan, then we think about selling it. But right now, I think we're just in too deep.
Agree but disagree. I think watching how Leao has panned out, like Leao's first season, he didn't get much game time. He didn't look good when he played. He kind of looked like raw talent. The difference between Leao and CDK is CDK doesn't look like raw talent. He doesn't look like talent. But we know it's there. He's a young kid playing in a new league with a manager who is shit. So I personally keep him for another season or two. And then once Leeds get relegated and they want to really splash on a player to get them back up, we give them CDK for 45. Because teams in the championship can pay that much.
Yeah, that would be a record signing at that level. As it stands, I think he will be kept, and I think I would keep him as well. But something needs to be done where the pressure's taken off him a little bit going into the second season. And I don't mean just not playing him either, because that doesn't help anybody. But he's been thrown into some difficult situations this season, which I don't think has helped his development. But also, we saw bright signs at the start, and they all just fizzled out. So we know there's something in there. We haven't seen enough recently to think, oh, well, maybe he could be the new backup left winger. Maybe he could play on the right. Maybe he should play up front because he's shown us nothing. As Maddie said, he's not showing us raw talent. He's not showing us any talent. He seems a bit to be hibernating to me at the moment. Like he's not looking for the ball. He's hiding away. He's making safe passes. That's not what we brought him here to do. A full preseason, I think, will help. And I think it will help him settle into the mechanisms a little bit more. Young kid, new country, new language, new teammates, all that has to be taken into account. Again, there's two conditions. Number one, some club comes along and offers you a chance to make your money back on him. If someone comes and offers us 30, 35 million euros, I really think that we should consider it and we should go for somebody more ready-made. And the second one is if a swap deal becomes available. There was a report in a local paper close to Bergamo, Atalanta today saying that we could offer up, or rather Atalanta are interested in Ketelaere and he could be included in a swap deal for Rasmus Højlund. I think if that is a possibility, you have to jump at something like that. Fixes a massive problem for us long term and also frees up a bit of money that we were going to use on a striker to go out and sign Brahim permanently, and then maybe you've also got money left for a right winger as well. Then I think you start to move the chess pieces around and you can make your squad better like that. Let's do Adli quickly. Yassine Adli.
I think that's another player we just haven't seen enough of. Maybe another year on loan. I mean, we made the investment to buy him for, what was it, 10 million? And then we immediately sent him on loan. And then this season he's come back and he's looked decent in, the 20, 30 minutes he has received this season. But that's simply not enough. He needs more time. And if Pioli doesn't think he's good enough to play even half a game, then we send him back on loan. But there is a player there. And we just haven't had a chance to see it.
I keep him. I think Pioli is going to go. And I think that's the reason why a lot of these players look like shit. So I'm going to keep him and let him develop a little bit more.
I have to be honest. I think Adli's shown more than CDK has in a lot less minutes. And there's a lot less pressure with him because he cost a third of the price. And there's like a lot of fan pressure to try and see more of him. So then when he goes out there, I think he's going to be determined to prove a point. I hope that this summer is the one where whoever is our manager, be it Pioli or whomever, finally manages to kind of sculpt him a little bit more into a functional player for the system. But I really think that there's something there with Adli, and I think he could become something with us. If it really isn't happening, let's say we sign another playmaker and we sign Brahim permanently, so he's never going to get any minutes, then you consider a season-long loan. But as it stands, I really hope we can work on him over the summer and he can become at least a backup number 10 going into next season, maybe a box-to-box midfielder. If we move to three-man midfield, which I think we should, keep him. Ante Rebic.
Oh, bye. See ya.
Sell.
Yeah, the less said, the better.
I think that he played his role as a transition, like from banter to what we are now. I think that, when you have backups, you want them to be similar style to the person who's starting. And him and Leao could not be more different. Leao's good. Rebic is bad. Leao's fast. Rebic is slow. Leao can shoot. Rebic can't anymore.
Yeah.
Hot and cold, man.
Like, what is going on with Rebic, by the way? Do we think it's just fitness?
It's lack of game time. It's lack of form. You want a player when they come off the bench to be able to be a difference maker. If he's not getting regular minutes, he can't be the difference maker.
Oh, he is a difference maker, just not a positive one.
Yeah,
is a lot worse.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I would also sell him. I think he's given us what will be 4 years, and in those first 2 seasons he hit double digits in goals, and we should say thanks for that, especially given that he didn't really cost us anything because he was part of an Andrea Silva deal. There were times when he was a fan favourite, when he was ice cold killer Rebic and he was burying them from everywhere. Again, he will leave us with a lot of happy memories, but I think this relationship has run its course, and it's probably for the best that he finds somewhere else now. While he's 29, he can get a good contract, probably back in the Bundesliga or something like that. So we should be looking for a new left winger. I would probably use the proceeds to go and get someone like a Noah Lang as well, for the exact reason that Maddie said. Then it would be a more easy transition from Leao to the backup option in that sense. Final one, Divock Origi.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah. Pass him to anyone else. Yeah, get that guy out of the club. I'd be willing to give him one more season if we don't get any offers, simply because we got him while he was injured, and then he played a little bit and immediately got injured again. And maybe benefit of the doubt, he just has not recovered at all yet, or not fully. But if we get any offer for any amount of money, just take it. Just take it.
Origi served one purpose this season: to win me $20. And he has served that purpose, and he can go now.
I thought you could say so we can keep him and he can do it again next season.
AJ definitely won't be making that bet again.
No, that one's done.
Maybe move it from, 20 to 2 or something?
Yeah.
I agree with AJ entirely. Like, if there is a Premier League club, as the reports suggest, that are dumb enough to come, a mid-table Premier League team like a Palace or even Leeds were apparently linked, they come along and are daft enough to offer even a bit of money and to cover Origi's salary because he earns $4 million net per season with us, then let him go. Let him go. You're not given anything. He's not offered enough. Even now he's supposedly fully fit again. He looks like a statue. He's totally behind the play. I think he's actually served another purpose though, Maddie. And this one is slightly more serious. He's shown us exactly the kind of striker we should be looking not to sign as our new number 9 going forward. We either need someone mobile or we need somebody who's going to get stuck in. And he doesn't either. He just sort of jogs about a bit. So he's helped us realise what we don't need as our starting striker moving forward. And it was an inexpensive gamble in terms of we got him on a free transfer. But it's time to cut the cord.
He only has one more goal than Zlatan, and he makes 4 times as much money. And Zlatan's only played 110 minutes all season.
How many shirts does he sell? I wonder if anyone did get one.
I bet Zlatan made us more money shirt sales wise.
I mean, this is like a whole nother problem. Our entire team is playing with speed, right? And our number 9s are the slowest number 9s in the world.
Yeah. That's why I'm happy to see us linked with the likes of Højlund, Balogun, even Jonathan David, like quick players who can also finish. Like, imagine if all of our forwards were just scary fast. I think it would take our counter-attacking to a new level.
We'd be scary good.
Yeah. I mean, look at Osimhen. Like, if we had a guy like that, think of what Leao's assist numbers would be. I mean, people are hyping up Kvara, but a lot of it is because of Osimhen on the end of those balls, you know?
Can't double team 2 of them, can you? That's it. Thank you very much to everybody who listened along to this one. And let us know in the comments section who you would keep and who you would sell if we were too harsh or too generous on some players. Thank you to everyone who has been subscribing to the Substack. Hope you're enjoying the bonus content, and we'll be back with another episode next week.